All right, y'all, let's talk about these two particular devices. Now, these are two of the probably the most popular devices on my channel, the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 and the LGV60. Now, both of these devices are flagship devices. Now, this isn't really not a comparison really. It's just want to talk about the popularity of both of these devices. Now, I've had this Note for quite a while. Came out 2019. This came out 2020. Both of these devices are great, but of course, there's always going to be some things that are better on one device than another. I love both of these devices, but if I had to choose between the two, I would have to take the Note 9. And the reason for that, I've always, I've been a Note guy. So I love the Note. Even though it has a little bit of a bezel at the top, thin one at the bottom, none on the sides. But you got the iris sensor up here. You're getting a better always on display with Samsung for me. You could turn up the brightness for the always on display. Even though the LG got a great always on display too, but Samsung's is better and more customizable. And then you got these lock screen wallpapers that I love. Okay. Face unlock. You got the S Pen, of course. You got a headphone jack there. Up top, you just got your normal. On the back, you got a actual fingerprint sensor. Remember that you used to have an actual fingerprint sensor. That works great still. Now the reason why I'm bringing up these two devices is because people are still buying this phone. I'm serious. It's shocking to me because this has very, very old software, like no software support whatsoever, no security updates, nothing. People are still buying this device to this day. It's just amazing to me. Now, this is an amazing phone, don't get me wrong, but for me, it's just, I know I'm just so used to the 120 hertz. I'm used to a brighter display, bigger display, better cameras, better performance. But when it comes to value, I can understand why people keep picking up this device. You got the heart rate monitor back here too. Only thing that's about the cameras is no wide angle lens, but the cameras are still really decent. You got all the typical Samsung software on here. You got Samsung DeX on here as well. Dual stereo speakers, IP68 water and dust resistance, secure folder, Samsung Pay with MST. You basically getting it all. Edge lighting, edge folders, or not edge lighting, and these right here, edge panels is what I meant to say, edge panels. So you're really getting everything that you get in the newer devices. There may be slightly more things in the newer devices, but I mean, really, you're getting the full package. You're getting the full package. Remember when I mentioned the iris sensor, and you get face unlock and a fingerprint sensor and a headphone jack and expandable memory up to 500 gigs. Now this this one comes with 8 gigs. Now the regular 128 gig variant comes with 6 gigs of RAM, but this one has 8 gigs of RAM because this is the 512 gig variant. But basically all the stuff that I'm mentioning, this was the full package. I'm telling you, the only thing that was missing from this device that I can remember was the IR blaster and IR blaster and what do you call that? The ultra wide lens. That was it. Other than that, this device gave you literally everything. The full package, excellent build quality. When you use this without a case, it feels great. It has a nice weight to it, has a nice thickness to it. You was getting this was Samsung's most complete Note that they've ever made, period. Most complete. Now, I'm not saying best, because to me, not the best, because it's the Note 20 actually, Ultra, is a better device overall. But I'm talking about for all you're getting, it's the most complete. Okay? It is. You got a 4,000 milliamp hour battery too. that still gives me great battery life to this day. So I mean, this phone, I mean, I like I said, it's a classic, and I'm not giving it up. That's why I still have it to this day, and I'm definitely keeping this. This is a 500 gig variant, and it still works great. I have no issues with it at all. Still got good log, all the typical Samsung software that you get on the other devices you got on this. Now, the LGV60 is also a very popular device because a lot of people love LG devices. Now, LG's had their issues in the past with boot loops and all kind of issues and stuff like that, but it doesn't take away the greatness of this device. This device is still a great device, period. Let me put my wallpaper back up here because I don't like to look at that purple screen. That just don't work for me. All right, now we cooking with gasoline. All right, so the thing about this device, you got a nice always on display. Let me go back to that. Well, you know, my issue with both of these devices is that the power button is so high. This is really, really high, but on the Note 9, it's also high too. I don't like how high they made the power button. I don't know why they had to put it that high, but I hate having to stretch all the way up here. So to keep from doing that and being annoyed, just double tap. That solves that. I didn't like how low this fingerprint sensor was, but you know, you get used to it. No big deal. But the always on display is great. Not as good as Samsung. Let me show you the difference real quick. I guess that ain't double tap to turn that out. When you look at both of them, now they both get nice and bright, but I don't have any, just got rid of all my notifications, but you can see them in colors. Here, they're real small, and they're all just white. And they're so small, unless you look real close, you don't know what it is. So LG could have did a better job with, you know, coloring, you know, giving the icons some color and also making them bigger. They're so small. That's why I like Samsung's always on display better. But other than that, like I said, you get into the phone, you got a beautiful 1080p display, 6.8 inches. This is 6.4 inches. So people may like a smaller phone. Not that 6.4 is small, but it's small compared to like the Note 20 Ultra, which is 6.9. So this is a relatively small screen. This is considerably bigger at 6.8. It's a little wider too than the Note 9, a little wider. Oh, and I forgot to mention the LED notification sensor. You got that on deck as well with this phone. So this phone really just gives you everything. Now with this, the thing that really tops this phone off the best. Now this phone honestly does have better cameras. The cameras back here are definitely better than that of the Note 9 in my opinion. The audio on this destroys the Note 9. The speakers, the dual stereo speakers, and the 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC and that headphone jack, this phone can't compete under no circumstances. None. Not even close. This is a beast when it comes to audio. Just an absolute beast. Now, my biggest issue with this display is just the thick bezels around the side and this stupid notch. Other than that, the display is beautiful. Performance is great on this device. You do have pen support. You can use a dual screen case on this as well that I do have. I always forget to put it in the video. My bad. But this phone still runs well. It has Android 13. This phone, I believe the last let me just check it real quick because I forget what version is variant this is. Let me see. Software update, no. About phone. Let me see. Software information. Android 10 and One UI 2.5. So software is extremely old. At least with the LGV60, they just updated. I just got this updated maybe about a month ago maybe about a couple weeks ago to Android 13. So of course you're gonna get better performance and you're gonna get it, you know, newer software as far as Android is concerned. But still, that doesn't take away the function of the Note 9. It still runs really well. But this phone here is an absolute monster. Like I said, the audio and you know, the dual stereo speakers the 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC, the headphone jack. You do get expandable memory. Now you're going to get more expandable memory on here than you do with the Note 9. Here you get expanded up to 2 terabytes. You can only expand it up to 500 gigs on the Note 9. So you're going to get greater storage capacity with this device. Now they do have a 256 gig internal storage. This is the 128. No big deal. IP68 water and dust resistance. I did forget about the wireless charging on here. This also has wireless charging as well. Both are relatively slow. This one is actually slower. 15-watt fast charging on here. The charging on here is a little bit faster. So you have the typical, premium stuff. Only thing about this phone, no face unlock, which I don't know why LG removed that. Build quality on here is great as well. Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, 6 on the back. You got that drop protection, with the military, grade drop protection on here. So this phone could be a little bit more durable than that of the Note 9, but I keep everything in cases, so that's irrelevant for me. No big deal. But both of these devices are really great. It's just shocking. Now, it's not that surprising that people are still buying the LGV60, but that people are still buying the Note 9 is really shocking to me, honestly. It really is. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong for doing it. You like what you like. And it's dirt cheap. You can get this for under 200. I'm hearing now you can find this for under 200. So you're going to pay pennies on the dollar for both of these devices. But I get so many more views for the Note 9 than I do the LG V60, even though I get a good amount on both. But both of these devices are just still very, very popular. People are liking sometimes the older devices over the newer devices. Because to me, and I'm going to be honest, to me, smartphones have plateaued. There's really no innovation anymore. The only thing even the foldable phones is not really all that innovative. They fold, okay. So what? What else can they do? Really. There's no innovation. I think they've all plateaued. The only thing that's actually innovative at the moment, I would say the nothing phone with the lights flashing on the back, and my Mi 11 Ultra, which was very innovative with that rear display. And also, if I'm not mistaken, the ROG6 has a rear display as well, where you can get your notifications and stuff like that. So that was innovative. But other than that, there's really no innovation. It's just the same old stuff every year with the same phone, just newer specs, better cameras. The performance is pretty much the same. It's just no innovation. Like, people want to see something new. We want some excitement. Like, come on. How about putting a big giant display on the back of the whole rear of the phone? Like, just something different. Anything as opposed to the same old, same old. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty bored when it comes to smartphones nowadays. I really am, honestly. The last phone that actually got me excited was my what was that, Vivo X Note. That's the last phone that got me excited, and I went out and got it because it excited me and I wanted it, and I got it, and I'm happy with it. But there's really nothing innovative about it, but it was just a big giant phone, great display, great battery life, great cameras, great performance. It was loaded down. The presentation was immaculate, was awesome, but there was really nothing innovative about the phone. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty bored with smartphones. But I still like these oldie but goodies. Both of these devices are still great in their own right, and I absolutely love them. Like I said, you get the full package with the Note 9, even though it has older software. And of course, with the LG V60, you're going to get a bigger screen. You're going to get a brighter screen. You're going to get better battery life too. 4,000 milliamp hour battery, 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Better battery life, better cameras, better performance, a faster device. What do you call that? Better audio through the dual stereo speakers and the 32-bit hi-fi quad DAC. You're going to get more storage. If you're a person that uses a lot of storage, you're going to get way more storage capacity with the LG V60. And also the dual screen case. Can't forget that. And it also has pen support and a Samsung Dex-like app. even though I've never used it, but I'm told it has one. But this has Samsung DeX, and it's going to be a lot more refined when it comes to that. Now, I prefer One UI. I prefer Samsung over LG, but I love them both. I don't have to pick one over the other to have, because I have both. But they both have their strength and they both have their weaknesses. But they're both great devices, and you know, if you pick either one, you're gonna be happy. Now, some people keep saying they're having issues with the charging port. I've had this phone for a few years. I use the charging port pretty much all the time. I've never had any issues with the charging port. That's just me. So maybe I've just been fortunate when it comes to that. I've had no flickering with the screen. I've had no issues with this device at all. So please don't ask me, have you ever had this problem, or if you had that problem. I've had no issues with this phone at all. None. It's worked fine since day one. I didn't get it brand new. I bought it renewed off Amazon. This device hasn't given me any issues since day one either. It's a little slower than the newer devices, which makes sense because it's a much older chipset that's in here. Okay, this device came out in 2019. It's over 5 years old. So you can't expect it to be as fast as the newer phones. But it still works fine. The display is still great. Everything works. Everything works great. S Pen still works great. It's a Bluetooth S Pen, you know, so you can snap pictures, control it, like, you know, use it like a little remote control. So look, like I said, when they made this phone, they made a complete package of this. They should have just took everything from this and added it to the Note 10 Plus and then to the Note 20 Ultra and just beefed it up even more. That's all they had to do, really. But instead of that, they stripped it all down and just kept stripping away feature after feature after feature. So now you got the S23, which a lot of people saying is great. I'm sure it might be, you know, typical Samsung device. I think it's just faster, battery life better, smoother, better cameras. So what? That's it? I mean, come on now. I mean, it's just your typical Samsung device, just better. The wireless charging is still a joke. The reverse wireless charging is still super slow. The wire charging is not that fast, 45 watts. So no expandable storage. You know, no iris sensor, no IR blaster, no alert slider. I mean, you're not getting a whole lot with that phone, honestly, if you really think about it. You're really not. They haven't added anything to it. And they definitely haven't did anything innovative with it. So it's your typical candy bar style phone. But anyway, back to these. Great devices. Whichever one you decide to go with, you'll enjoy both of them. I just wanted to talk about them just for a few, because they're just like, you know, two of the most popular viewed devices on my channel. And people are still to this day buying this device, honestly. It's crazy. But you're going to get a great experience out of both. So thank you all for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. Hope everybody out there is staying safe and staying well. And I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.